This is Ag Matters PM from the Iowa Agribusiness Radio Network, brought to you by the Iowa Soybean Association. Your daily recap of the information that affects Iowa's farmers, producers, and consumers, right here in the heart of the heartland. With reports from our award-winning broadcast team of Dustin Hoffman, Riley Smith, and Mark Magnuson. Now, from the IARN studios in Des Moines, here's Mark Magnuson.
Hello and welcome into Ag Matters PM on the Iowa Agribusiness Radio Network. I'm Mark Magnuson. Today is Thursday, November 3rd, 2022, and we're so glad you could join us for today's show. In today's episode, I talk with Vern Hawkins of Syngenta about what farmers need to be thinking about as they get ready for next growing season when it comes to crop protection. And as always, we take a look at the ag weather outlook. But first, let's have a check of the markets.
It's time now for the Ag Matters PM Closing Market Summary, your source for market analysis and settlement prices from the day's trade in Chicago, courtesy of the folks at agmarket.net.
At the end of another trading day, we are joined now by Tyler Schau of agmarket.net for our market analysis today. Tyler, what did we see on the grain markets?
It was a pretty rough day on grains across the board. Corn and beans took it pretty hard. A lot of it's being attributed to the financial markets. Yesterday, late afternoon, the Fed came out and again raised rates another 0.75%. And it was more the question and answer by Fed Chairman Powell afterwards. It kind of sent the financial markets in a bit of a tailspin. And basically, you ended up with, right now, the dollar's trading 1.6 points higher. You've got the Dow Jones, the S&P all gave up quite a bit of gains yesterday. And so, just that outside financial market put a little strain on the corn and the bean market today, in our opinion, kind of pulled everything down. Corn's down about 8 to 9 cents. Soybeans are down about 17 cents in January. Wheat was kind of the one that hung in there, which has been surprising. Wheat's been, it's like watching a ping pong game this week, seeing how wheat trades. And if anyone has Putin's number and can find out what he's going to do next, I'd sure like to have access.
And Tyler, as you mentioned, with those rate hikes yesterday causing some reaction in the markets, what was your biggest takeaway from that? And where do you think that says where we are in terms of dealing with inflation right now?
I think it says that the Fed's going to do whatever they have to do, or they're willing to do whatever they have to do to pull inflation down to 2%. Over the last, I would say, 3 to 4 weeks, there was a lot of chatter in the markets from a lot of sources that they were looking for the Fed to kind of pivot away from rate hikes and maybe start softening or, a little more of a dovish tone to their comments. And that's not at all what we got out of Jerome Powell's press conference yesterday. It was very, hey, look, we're going to stay the course. We're prepared to do what we've got to do. And if they've got to come in, he feels they've got some tools at their disposal that can help boost the economy if they push it down, too far into a recession. So I think the market, maybe was kind of expecting, them to get a little soft, mainly because, to be honest with you, they've been soft on the economy for the last 2 years. And so they kind of took an abrupt change here this summer and went to raising rates at some of the fastest rates that we've seen in recent history anyhow. And they're, in my opinion, if they want to cut down consumptive behavior, they're going to have to stay aggressive on those rate hikes. And it's going to take a lot more than what we've seen so far. So I think markets just kind of taking a step back, saying, okay, they're serious about this, and they are going to fight it, even though we maybe don't want it, and it might be painful.
And you also alluded to, of course, the ongoing situation with Ukraine and those shipments of grain out of the country. And now Russia has said that those shipments and that shipping corridor can remain open and those shipments can continue. Of course, it's very difficult to take Russia at its word on anything right now. So is this just going to be a case of where we're going to have to play it by ear and a day-to-day reaction?
I think so. I think, if you're out there trading grain, if you're a trader, you're going to have to look at getting on first base and second base and trying to hit the home run is going to be difficult. If you're a hedger, it's going to require discipline. If you need to hedge wheat, which again, let me remind growers that we're at price levels that I'll just use some of my clients in Western North Dakota on spring wheat. I've got guys selling cash wheat today, and their net on it is about $3 a bushel. So if you do a return on investment, that's 150%. In any other business, if you could get 150% return on investment, you'd be doing backflips. So I've been, really pushing my producers to stay focused, make sales when it makes sense, make sales for cash flow reasons. And we can do that in the wheat market right here. So I think if you're going to be hedging, there's going to be big swings. You might get some margin calls, but take a price you like, put it on, stick with it, because you never know. 2 days later, we might be trading right back at the same price level.
What have we learned today so far on the livestock markets?
Wasn't just a lot of news on the livestock side. December fats did close up about 55 cents, which is kind of one of those things that we've been expecting. The cash prices on December fats have been staying strong. We're seeing cash prices being bid above 152 really across the north and the south. So it's going to be tough right now with cash prices the way they are to beat that thing down. Feeder calf market, I think, is kind of following this financial deal, trying to predict what the demand is going to be for beef 6, 7, 8 months out is difficult. Demand has stayed strong for beef. And so I think, I feel pretty confident that we've found a floor here recently on those feeder calves. We were down in the low 170 range. And hogs, just kind of a blasé day. Hogs didn't really move more than about a dime in any contract. And that's uncommon for hogs here recently.
He is Tyler Schau with our market analysis today from agmarket.net. Tyler, how can our viewers get in touch if they want more great information?
Go to our website, agmarket.net. Take a look at the top banner. We're running some promos for our winter conference that'll be held in Nashville here early February. And if you want to reach out to me direct, my phone number is 701-987-6009.
He is Tyler Schau from agmarket.net. Tyler, thanks for joining us, and stay warm up there in North Dakota.
Will do. You too.
And that once again was Tyler Schau with agmarket.net. We're now going to turn our attention to how the numbers closed, and those numbers brought to us courtesy of the folks at Bar Chart. December corn is down 8 1/4 at $6.79 1/4. November soybeans down 13 1/4 at $14.26 3/4. Soybean meal for January down $9.50 at $407.50. Soybean oil for January down 10 cents at $73.18. Chicago wheat down 5 1/2 at $8.40 1/2. Minneapolis wheat down 6 1/4 at $9.43 even. And Kansas hard red wheat is up 1 even at $9.41 1/4. December oats down 6 1/2 at $3.84 1/2. On the Merc, live cattle for December up 55 cents at $151.95. November feeder cattle down 92 cents at $178 even. Lean hogs for December up 7 cents at $83.37. Pork cutouts for December up 15 cents at $94 even. Class 3 milk for November up 14 cents at $20.82. And that's been a check of the Ag Market Recap here on Ag Matters PM. We're going to take a quick moment for a break to hear from our sponsor, the Iowa Soybean Association and the Soy Checkoff. And when we come back, I will visit with Vern Hawkins, President of Crop Protection with Syngenta. And this is Ag Matters PM.
Iowa Soybean Association is driven to deliver for Iowa's 40,000 soybean farmers. We're proud to provide objective agronomic research, a helping hand with soil and water stewardship, and timely industry news powered by the Soybean Checkoff. Learn more at iasoybeans.com.
Welcome back to Ag Matters PM on the Iowa Agribusiness Radio Network. I'm Mark Magnuson. In today's show, I speak with Vern Hawkins. He is the president of crop protection at Syngenta, and we talk about what farmers need to think about when it comes to crop protection going into next year's growing season. Here with Vern Hawkins, and Vern is with Syngenta, of course. My name is Mark Magnuson with the Iowa Agribusiness Radio Network. Vern, could you first of all tell us what your role is in the Syngenta operation?
I'm responsible for the North American crop protection business, so regional director for North America and president of Syngenta Crop Protection.
And Vern, we're here in New Orleans this week, and we're talking about all things crop protection. So right now, Of course, we come from Iowa Agribusiness Radio Network. What should Iowa farmers really be focused on when it comes to crop protection right now?
Planning. We've had a very successful year with a lot of the Iowa farmers related to bringing innovation and technology. Supply has been a challenging activity for the last couple of seasons. There are elements of it improving, but certain active ingredients are still going to be very tight, and knowing what they're planning to utilize for their fields and their crops, connecting with their retailer, whoever services them, is a really important part of us getting the mix of products right on the right timing for them so they can continue to be successful.
And Vern, everyone I talk to talks about the difficulty with input costs and shortages of things and just kind of the turmoil that's happening in the world. And it does seem like those things are always happening, but this does seem like a special storm of events all happening at once.
Absolutely. I've been in this industry for over 35 years, and the last couple of years are definitely extremes. And it's not just the global supply chains are running max out, but when the logistics and some of the more basic components are not available in a reliable way, it does change what you can actually do at your production plant. And so it does take a lot more planning, a lot more communication, and we're doing a lot more creative things to close the gaps. The good news is we're getting better at it.
And have some things then just change forever, like with the invasion in Ukraine with Russia? It seems like Russia is just kind of out of the picture right now for some of those resources and inputs that we need.
I hope not forever, but certainly these are not short-term changes. And alternative sourcing of certain materials are harder to replace than others. And it's one of the benefits of being a global company. We often have multiple sources for difficult to access compounds or chemicals. And I wouldn't say that we've got it all figured out, but it's going to be important to continue to have partners that have that ability to access the critical needs.
A lot of the things we've been hearing from your team the last couple of days then is, of course, about innovation and always having the next new product. So how do you plan for the future so far out when we've heard about how long that research takes, when we know things can change very quickly in a short time?
Sure. So fortunately, that part of our process hasn't changed a lot. Learning is faster for sure with better information. A lot of the digital tools we're using in our R&D are giving us more accuracy and more connectivity. So we're able to streamline some of those elements, but our R&D engine has been going strong all through this supply chain challenge because it's a different part of the company. And staying connected with our local markets like the U.S. around what farmers need most, what are their biggest challenges, and what technologies can provide those benefits is something that we have a very good process for and are committed to.
What's the biggest challenges for crop protection right now going forward then when we take out a lot of the supply issues that we're worried about?
So right now, regulatory is always a challenge to allow farmers to utilize their farm to its fullest. And so there's a use piece related to the farm, and then there's a piece related to the usability of the chemicals or the technologies that they need. And the U.S. EPA still is, in my opinion, the most renowned regulatory agency in the world because it has a risk-based approach and focused on science. But we do have some concerns and challenges in some of the processes. Some of it's funding, some of it's pressure from the courts to push through the science. And these are some of the things that went wrong in the EU related to political influence into scientific decision making. And so we just need farmers to be engaged in helping regulators and decision makers in the legislative space understand what they do, why it's important, and where the technology fits, because they need farmers.
And is that regulatory angle, is that at a higher level too, at least it seems that way, or is that just another case of kind of getting more talk in the media and that type of, through that, I should say, are we experiencing more regulatory issues when it comes to these types of things, or does it just seem that way?
It's some of both.
Okay.
It never goes away. You always have regulatory challenges of some kind, and we're up for renewal on some of the pesticide registration acts. Farm Bill is here, and we do have more pressure that's visible from courts, from outside influencers. That's putting pressure on the EPA. Those things are not healthy, and so it's important to stay grounded and be confident in the work the EPA does. They do good work, but they've got to be more forthright in putting the science forward and defending some of the challenges that they're receiving. So there are new elements that are real, but it never goes away. So it's a little bit of both.
So something like the issue with atrazine, did you have any indication that that was coming, or is that something that just kind of hit you all at once?
It did come out of process. So it's been around for a number of years. Atrazine's a product that's very well known by farmers. It's probably one of the compounds that has the most studies in its life on it. We've been through multiple registration and re-registration processes. So this one came out of process, and it's a little bit unfortunate that the EPA is contradicting a decision that they made through their own scientific review in this challenge. And that's why the farmers are engaged. They know its importance, they know the compound well, and it's great to have them part of the input, to make sure that the value is understood by those that ultimately make the decision.
And Vern, today we're going to the St. Gabriel site. What are we going to see there today?
Well, I hope you see a bunch of happy people because the plant is running well right now, and that's something that farmers care about. You'll certainly see a lot of pride in the work that they do. That's a plant that has been running all through COVID, like many manufacturing plants, and through all of the challenges that we've experienced in supply. But you'll see a very large asset that has been there for decades, but still does have a high productivity.
What do right now then, wrapping things up, what do Midwest farmers, Iowa farmers need to be concerned about the most going forward, I guess, just on some of the things we've already talked about, but just thinking about crop protection as a whole?
Well, I think in crop protection, there's still a lot that we're working through with technology related to fungicide opportunity and fit, and that's been a real significant growing business the last year. So finding the acres where that makes sense in addition to what they do with herbicides and insecticides is something that we're looking for in the planning because it is a growing business. We need a good line of sight on it. We're bringing new technology through seed care, and so I think folks continuing to innovate and look for the next level of technology as that comes out to improve establishment of their crops and protection is another area. And then we're looking to the future as well. So soil health has got a lot of discussion right now, and I think in the future there will be technologies that are invented to help bring a different level of productivity to the soil ecosystem. That's a little bit of a ways off related to step change, but just keeping engaged around what's coming next is also important, so we can kind of plan together on how to build the adoption curves.
He's Vern Hawkins with Syngenta. Vern, thank you so much for the time and have a great rest of your week.
Thank you.
That was Vern Hawkins, President of Crop Protection with Syngenta. As for right now, let's take a look at the ag weather outlook. Well, here today in the state of Iowa, we have a very nice fall day once again. Even though we have moved into November, it still feels quite nice outside. But as we start to think about tonight, and especially tomorrow, things are going to change quite a bit. Tonight, we're going to cool off, get some chances for some rain showers. And then as we turn our attention to tomorrow, that's when things are really going to kick up in those rain chances. And we have chances for some pretty significant rain across the state of Iowa. So for right now, let's take a look at what the National Weather Service has in store for us for the next 24 hours. As you can see from the National Weather Service forecast, we are expecting a lot of clouds and plenty of potential for rainfall throughout the state over the next 24 hours. Today, mostly cloudy skies with a chance for showers in the northwest. Temperatures will be unseasonably warm in the low to mid 70s. Tonight, cloudy skies and rain developing. Temperatures will be cooler with lows in the mid 30s to low 60s. Tomorrow, a lot of chances for rainfall around the state of Iowa. Showers are likely with temperatures falling throughout the day, highs in the low 40s to low 70s. And as we turn our attention to tomorrow's forecast in our affiliate map, Cherokee is the cold spot in the state with cloudy skies, high around 43 tomorrow with showers likely. Shenandoah will be a bit warmer with a high near 51 and cloudy skies with likely showers. Des Moines, high in the low 60s on Friday with showers and possibly a thunderstorm. Albia, high near 66, cloudy skies, showers, and thunderstorms possible. Waterloo expecting a high in the low 60s with cloudy skies, showers, and a possible thunderstorm. Clinton with a chance of showers and thunderstorms on Friday, then showers and possibly a thunderstorm in the afternoon. Clinton does have the high expected temperature tomorrow with a high around 70. For a more detailed forecast in your part of the state, check with your local Iowa Agribusiness Radio Network affiliate. And that's been a check of the Ag Weather Outlook. And that also brings us to the end of this episode of Ag Matters PM. You can find all of our content on our website at iowaagnet.com. You can also follow us on social media on Facebook, Twitter, and TikTok. And as always, you can find all of our video content and our previous episodes of AMPM on our YouTube channel. And while you're on our YouTube channel, we ask that you go ahead and subscribe. Make sure you click on the notification bell as well, as that's going to let you know whenever we have new video content available. And of course, don't forget our free twice daily market podcast wherever you find your favorite podcast, whether it's Apple, Amazon, Google, Spotify, and Podbean. From the IARN studios in Des Moines, I'm Mark Magnuson. On behalf of Riley Smith and Dustin Huffman, we thank you for watching. This has been Ag Matters PM.